Australian Aboriginal art is the longest continuous art movement in existence, with cave paintings in RM land and the Kimberley dating back well over 30,000 years. Art was traditionally produced in Aboriginal society as part of everyday life, with particular items being produced for rituals and ceremony. Many of the images found in the rock galleries are still painted today, the artists holding the same reverence to the dream time as in the past.
The first dance we're doing for you is called Wach. Wach is the emu dance. It's a story of the emus in the morning as they're walking around feeding. They're also looking around in case something is looking in the bush for them. Things like dingoes who feed on the emus. It's called Wach Ngarning. It's the emus feeding in the morning.
Richard Walley is well known for his knowledge of Aboriginal art and culture and is a leading performer and figure in the Australian art industry. He has written many plays and recorded 6 CDs of his didgeridoo. His dance group Mida is internationally known and they represent the Noongar people from Western Australia. I'd like to welcome you to Mauritius, Richard, and thank you for sharing some of your culture with us. How many different groups of Aboriginals are there in Australia?
There's many different groups in Australia. There's something like about 500 different Aboriginal groups with 300 different Aboriginal languages, up to 500 with different dialects. So it is a very, very vast and different group of people that exists in Australia today in the Indigenous context.
Okay. Is your dance traditional or contemporary?
Our dance is a mixture of both. Some of the dances you see have been handed down for thousands of years, so they are traditional. Other dances you see are newly choreographed dances, so therefore they are what we call contemporary. And then we have the other dances that are a mixture of both. It's the old traditional stories, the old traditional moves, blended with contemporary music and also a simple piece of contemporary choreography.
Okay, thank you. What is the significance of the instruments and paintings in this performance?
Instruments and painting is very, very significant. It's half the presentation. Things like the didgeridoo, for example. The didgeridoo here, it's a piece of wood that's been eaten out and hollowed on the inside by termites. It's just a piece of gum tree, and the termites will eat all the soft centre out. Then they go back down into the ground. We come and tap the didgeridoo. We hear it that it's hollow. Then we cut the didgeridoo down and bang the rest of the termites out, take the bark off the didgeridoo, and that's it, it's completed. It's one of nature's gifts. The boomerangs are also very important. They are hit together to make a percussion sound as well as sticks to make the band, if you like, for the presentation. And the artwork or the paintings on the face and the paintings on the body is very important because that tells the story of a particular person. If he's a member of a tribe or a totem that's a possum, he'll have a possum painted on him. Or if he's a member of a tribe that's a totem that's a magpie, he'd have the magpie painted. So it's very, very important that the artwork on the body and the instruments, that they play extremely important part in traditional presentations.
How old is the Aboriginal culture?
That's a very difficult question. In our culture, we don't relate to time. Time is something that hasn't begun or it doesn't end. It's something that is here now. You're today. You're part of your present, and you're also part of your future. So it's a cycle that we see about time, and it's been estimated that our culture is over 60,000 years old. So if you want to start counting in dates, you can say 60,000 years old. We say how old our culture is. It's a very old culture, but it's also a very new culture because we're still here today.
Okay, thank you.
This dance is called Ngonyol. It's the story of the honeybee. Before settlers came to Australia, the honeybee was a non-stinging bee. So when our people used to get honey, we'd go to the hive and get the honey without any sting. And when the European bee was brought across, of course the European bee would sting. This is a story of a group of young boys who were going out looking for honey and come across a group of European bees in a hive for the first time. Ngonyol. This dance is called Chiri Chiri Kulbari. It's a story of the little bird, the willy wagtail, and Kulbari, the magpie. The little bird Chiri Chiri is nesting, and Kulbari is flying pretty close to Chiri Chiri's nest. And when Kulbari gets close to the nest, Chiri Chiri flies up and chase Kulbari away. Chiri Chiri Kulbari. This dance is called Yonga. Yonga is the kangaroo. It's the kangaroos feeding in the evening. So some of the kangaroos are lazing around, other kangaroos are hopping about, others are scratching themselves. And you see all the characteristics of kangaroos late in the day as they're feeling very relaxed and eating. Yonga ngarning.
Diane Mossinson, a qualified medical practitioner for over 20 years, has worked in the areas of paediatrics, women's health, students' health, cerebral palsy, acupuncture and sports medicine. In 1991, Diane completed a physiotherapy postgraduate course in manipulative therapy, being then one of only 4 doctors in Australia to do this training. In the later years of general practice, her main areas of interest were acupuncture, manual medicine and consulting to the Cerebral Palsy Association of Western Australia. It has only been recently that the demands of running Indigenous art have seen Diane's practice of medicine dwindle. Over the years, Diane has always maintained a keen interest in art and been an avid art collector. Diane, I'd like to welcome you to Mauritius and ask you about some of the paintings that you've been displaying here during Australia Week. What do these Aboriginal paintings actually mean?
Well, the paintings mean a variety of things. Some of the artwork and paintings are about Dreamtime stories. They're paintings and themes which date back over 30 or 40,000 years ago, and those stories have been handed down from generation to generation, from one group of artists to the next. Other of the paintings are about the environment and the artist's relationships with the environment, and further works address different aspects of ceremony and dance.
Okay, what kind of materials do the artists use in their work?
The artists use a variety of materials. Some work with acrylic paints on canvas or Belgian linen, whereas another group of artists will work with ochre-based paints, which they collect from the environment around them. They go around and search, and particular rocks contain ochre, which they grind and mix with a medium which allows it to adhere to either the paper or the canvas that they're working on.
And was this always the way that they did their paintings, or did they use other materials?
Traditionally, they would either paint on their body or paint in the cave walls or on the ground as part of their storytelling. A lot of the artwork revolved around ceremony and daily activity, and a lot of time could be spent preparing a body for dance, and then just see that artwork disappear away. It's only been in the last 30 years that paintings on canvas have become available to the wider community.
And why is it important that the Aboriginal people keep painting?
It's important because through the act of painting, it maintains cultural links strongly within the community. It also allows the broader community to have access to some small insights into Aboriginal culture, history, and their way of life. So it's got a twofold purpose and has really helped to break down a lot of barriers between the Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal community.
This painting depicts designs associated with the SOAKAGE water site of Mutilka, situated among sandhills south of the Mantata outstation, which is approximately 70 kilometers west of the Kintore Community. In mythological times, one woman, Talpalta Nakamarra, camped at this site digging for honey ants. Eunice has painted the bush banana, Yuparti, by Warlpiri people. The Yuparti are cooked before eating if they are mature, though small pods are eaten raw along with flowers and leaves. This painting shows the plant after it has flowered once and with the new flowers coming through. The central roundel in this picture depicts a cave at the site of Warlpiri near Mount Singleton. The tracks are those of two kangaroo ancestors who cooked and ate a joey thinking it was a bandicoot. Aroused by the cooking smells, Wanara, the rainbow serpent, came to investigate. Seeing that an offence had been committed, he caused a storm to erupt. Karilwara Rock Hall is associated with the Rock Hall site west of the Pollock Hills in Western Australia. Two pythons, kunias, lived at this site, and there are waterholes near their home. A large number of women of the Napangardi kinship camped at this site during their travels. The grid-like pattern represents the hills in the area. This painting depicts designs associated with the Rock Hall site of Pukunji, which is west of Umari and east of Mountain Webb in Western Australia. A large group of women passed through this site during their travels further east. They gathered the edible berries and seeds growing in the area through which they passed. These paintings are in the style of the Pukamani poles used by the Tiwi people in their ceremony. The designs are patterns painted on the body during the different dances in ceremonies.